Well, hi there. Welcome to the Randy Cross podcast. I am, no surprise, Randy Cross. This is season 5, episode 12. And today is going to be kind of a simple type of a podcast. It's just going to be me, Kevin Sorbo, the actor. Yeah, you know, Hercules and all that stuff. We're going to catch up with him, see what he's doing. He's a actor, director, producer. He's an author. He's got plenty of books. Pretty interesting guy. So it should be a fairly wide-ranging conversation in our interview. Then we'll have basically a review of our social media spots where you find us, a little happy trails, and we're going to be out of here. All right? So let's start things off with a little Kevin Sorbo. All right, as promised, I'm joined by Kevin Sorbo. Interesting little list here. Actor, director, producer, author, and probably one of those guys that you really don't have to ask what's new and exciting. Kevin, how you been?
I've been busy. It's been good. I can't complain. You know, after 2020, which would have been the first year in 35 years I haven't worked as an actor. Now the Blue, I got 8 episodes of a half-hour comedy, so I still shot. But last year was good. 2021, I shot 4 movies. I directed 2 of them, and it was a good year. Staying busy.
Well, good. Which comedy did you film?
It's called The Pot Wins. It's sort of like Last Man Standing. They're finishing up on all 8 episodes right now in terms of editing and all that kind of stuff. But they're hoping to get it out there, sell it somewhere, because it's got, you know, it's sort of in that same vein, like I said, a Last Man Standing. I play a father that's pretty conservative, and I got a really liberal far left daughter in college, and I got my 15-year-old son who's more right than I am. So it's a good mixture and stuff. And then the great Barry Bostwick plays my hippie smoking father, you know. So it's pretty entertaining. It was fun.
So what's going on with you movies wise? I think last time we talked was just after maybe Let There Be Light.
Yeah, I mean, I've shot a number of movies since Let There Be Light, but this past year, I did a movie called Miracle in East Texas, which I directed. We got Lou Gossett Jr. and John Ratzenberger in that one. It deals with about the largest oil fund in the history of the world in Kilgore, Texas, back in 1930, in the heart of the Depression. Great cast, great movie. It's won 10 awards at film festivals already. Hoping to get out in theaters by this fall. I just directed the Left Behind movie called Left Behind: Rise of the Antichrist, and that's based on the best-selling books. Left Behind sold like 80 million books.
Oh, you're kidding? You directed that?
Yep. So that's going to come out.
I love that series. I flew through those books.
Well, the last one was like 7 or 8 years ago, 7 years ago with Nicolas Cage. I took over that role and also directed it. And this deals now with, like I said, the rise of the Antichrist. So this one's going to be a lot grittier, a lot dirtier than the other ones. It's going to be some good action in it as well. And my tie there was Jerry Jenkins and LaHaye were the 2 guys that wrote those books. Well, Dallas Jenkins is his son, and Dallas is doing the Chosen series right now, which is really kicked off. Dallas and I worked on a movie together back in 2010 with Christy Swanson and again John Ratzenberger called What If? And What If in my book is a much better movie than God's Not Dead. So I tell people that all the time because I know I have a lot of God's Not Dead fans out there. Please check out What If, better movie. But this one is going to be pretty good. I really enjoyed it. I just finished my final edit on it. And so that's going to be coming out soon. And then I did a documentary that's coming out this summer called Eating with the Enemy, which deals with the Last Supper and the disciples, which I love the title, Eating with the Enemy, because you not only have Judas and you had Doubting Thomas, but when Jesus was being crucified, a lot of people were going, wait a minute, you were with him. And all these disciples go, no, I don't know the dude, man. So it's they all denied.
No idea who you're doing.
No idea who he is. So I'm looking forward to that one.
That was Peter, though, right? You will deny him 3 times before the cock crows.
Yeah, exactly. You'll deny me 3 times. That's right.
Yeah. No, it was. That sounds fascinating. It really does. I'm excited about the thing about the Antichrist.
And then I leave this year. I've already booked a World War II movie. We're shooting in Poland based on a true story. It's sort of a smaller version of Schindler's List. True story about this woman who had a family of Jews living in the basement of his house, that she was basically the maid slave for this high-ranking German officer. And so it took her 2 years to figure out a way how to sneak them out from where they were. And then I've got a documentary I'm shooting in Israel this May. And then I go to Oklahoma to shoot a Western called Trailblazers with Antonio Sabato is directing that one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, if you got the whole Revelations theme, sounds like it dovetails into that. What was the other one you have going on? The Before the Wrath?
BeforeTheWrath.com. Really good documentary. It was the #1 documentary on Amazon for 5 months last year, Before the Wrath. Another one to check out is Against the Tide, AgainstTheTide.movie. It's a documentary I shot with John Lennox. You know who John Lennox is?
Yes.
He's an apologist from Oxford University. He's debated Dawkins, Hitchens, Singer, all the great atheists of the world. And we shot 3 weeks in Oxford, 2 weeks in Israel. And it's proving God in a world of science. So Against the Tide, pretty fascinating. Then I always like to say I narrated this one. I'm on camera as well. I love saying this one. It's Climate Hustle 2. Just one more way to endear myself to Hollywood.
I like it.
To show the other side of the global warming issue, which I call weather. But you know.
Yeah. I enjoyed your tweet. I think it was earlier. You know, has weather has the climate just now changed, or has it always been changing? It's an obvious question.
I love doing Twitter. Facebook banned me for life. I'm banned from that. So Twitter, I just turned to sarcastic truth when I said, if you really want to get rid of COVID, tell the Clintons that COVID has something on them.
Very good. Very good.
Miraculously commit suicide.
Yeah. Hey, for a guy that obviously holds some pretty conservative views.
Yeah.
It would seem, being in the business you're in, that can be a disadvantage.
Oh yeah. It's I got the boot from Hollywood about 12 years ago. My agent called me in and said, we can't work with you anymore. I was going, what? Well, it's because your views on Facebook and I'm going, no, wait a minute. You're the industry that screams for tolerance all the time, but apparently tolerance is a one-way street with Hollywood, as you know, and so is freedom of speech. So we're losing. Look, I got the cancel culture already costing me money. I mean, I've been losing jobs now. Speaking events, whatever. I don't like him because he said this. And I'm going, oh, you mean I said the truth? But right now, Zuckerberg and those other wusses out there don't like the truth. They love to live the lie, and that's where they want everybody else to live. So I'm not going to give up on speaking the truth. Thank God the independent movies are still out there. I'm staying busy, but it is frustrating when these punks can sit there and they know who I am and I don't know who they are, but they get me canceled at different speaking events. It's pretty ridiculous.
Well, that's the joy of social media, to be honest with you. It's crazy just to hear the input sometimes. And in my world, in sports, it's everybody that's got a little @ thing by their name as a general manager.
Yeah. Yes.
So it can be a little bit frustrating. Hey, Kevin, can you talk a little bit about your involvement with veterans and some of the stuff that you've done? Because I know I've read some of the things you've done, but can you talk some about it?
It's all about our vets, right? I mean, my brother was 23 years in the Army, Lieutenant Colonel Scott Sorbo. He's one of my heroes, there's no question. I back whatever, support what Gary Sinise is doing with veterans, the houses he built. I just talked with Gary just the other day, actually. He's another guy leaving California soon. He's moving to Franklin, Tennessee. California is doing a great job of losing all the great people of the world. You look at a guy like Gary Sinise, he's our generation's Bob Hope, and he does it in a very quiet way. He's been over there to Afghanistan, Iraq 40 times with the Lieutenant Dan Band, And I love the stuff that, also the Wounded Warriors and what Mark Cuban does with those guys as well. And, there's over 200 suicides. Is it a day? It's some crazy, crazy number of our vets. And our government pays no attention to it. And yet, meanwhile, all Biden cares about is letting people into the country and not getting checked. I mean, I got a woman down there right now who's a friend of mine doing a documentary. She said, you cannot believe what's going on down here when all these single 35-year-old males are showing up with 20 of their nieces and nephews when they've been sold into slavery right away into the sex trade. I mean, it's pathetic. And, we got a president and vice president that didn't win the election, but don't even go down there and check out
Yeah.
to see what's going on. They won't even go down there because they know how horrible it is. I said, I always tell, the heck with the sheep. We got to wake up the lions, and people can't be afraid to speak up and talk, because that's
Yeah.
what they're doing. They're shutting people down and for speaking the truth.
Yeah, big time. Hey, speaking of truth and kind of what's going on today, you and your wife are very involved. You take trips to Israel all the time.
Yep.
What is it like over? Have you been over there
Yeah,
during
I've been
all
there
this
a
stuff
couple
that's going
times. We
on?
had another trip planned for this year, but we're going to postpone it now till next year until they get rid of some of their restrictions. But just now they lifted much more of their restrictions. And like I
Okay.
said, I'm going in May to do a documentary on a temple that they found. They believe now they found the oldest temple ever in the archaeological dig along the Jordan border. So I'll be there doing that. I'll be on camera. I'll be interviewing people, and so I'm looking forward to that. What's incredible is you have this tiny country surrounded by countries that just want to wipe it off the face of the earth, and yet they still thrive the way they thrive. And I think it's amazing over there. And I tell my atheist and agnostic friends, I said, guys, number one, you can't deny that Jesus existed. I mean, even the hardcore atheists of the world that do these talking events, they don't deny that there was a man named Jesus. So just to go over there, doesn't have to be a spiritual journey, just to go over there and look at the history of the place, because the history just goes back thousands and thousands of years, and it's pretty educational and pretty amazing to walk around and do it. I remember we're walking through the street, and you have all these vendors selling, wood carvings and all that. And John Lennox, while I was doing the documentary with him, got very, going to say, all this stuff, it's sickening. I said, John, this is positive. This just proves that Jesus was a capitalist. This is what it shows right now. So this is a good
That's right.
thing.
He understood capitalism. That's why
Sure,
he threw
he
all
did.
those people
He
out.
did.
He threw all those people out of the temple.
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I mentioned also you're an author. What's the latest on that front?
My book True Strength has been out for a while, but my wife and I just co-wrote a sequel to it called True Faith, and it deals with how do you deal with the things that life throws at us and the roadblocks that we get into, and how do you get through those things? And it's almost like using faith as a crutch to help you navigate, or like a boat really, to navigate those waters that you go into. Because everybody's got a story. Everybody's had bad things happen in their life, and God never promised us an easy life. So it's how you get through it. I mean, when my kids get down, my wife has the thing. She always says, it's a choice. You can be angry about it. You can be mad about it. You can be upset about it, or you can go, what? It happened. Because with me, every time, when we first got married, when I was going through what I was going through with physical problems, she just said, it happened. What are you going to do about it? And she's not wrong. I mean, look at your profession. Look at all the injuries you've had, and you got to kind of go, okay, this happened to me now. What am I going to cry about it? Or am I going to work hard to get myself healthy enough to go back out and play again? Because that's what it comes down to.
Yeah. You still doing a lot of public speaking?
I do it mostly pro-life, but I do a lot of, I've been doing more and more human trafficking lately, which I find interesting, and more and more Christian education, things like that. But pro-life has probably been the biggest thing I've been doing, because it kind of came off my book, True Strength, where I initially was just speaking with medical facility, talking with doctors and nurses and stuff like that. And then it just sort of took off. So I've got one coming up. I'm heading to your neighborhood. I'll be speaking in Atlanta a week from this Friday.
Oh, well, good. Where are you going to be at?
To be honest with you, I can't remember the place, what it's called.
Okay.
But I mean, you know how it is. You're always looking at things. I know it's called the Atlanta. It's a freedom event. And I don't know. I'm just speaking to mostly high school and college students where I'll be speaking.
That's fantastic.
But it's really sharing my story in terms of what that's the business that I'm in, when Hollywood puts out so many movies that are filled with hate and anger. And I try to do movies that fight that culture. Because, Andrew Breitbart said politics runs downstream from culture, and it does. And who runs the culture? Hollywood does, in the mainstream media. So I'm trying to do stuff that has hope and love and faith and redemption and laughter, things that are missing in so many of Hollywood's movies right now.
Well, that's one of the things that really appealed to me about your movie, What If, was the whole premise of the stubborn, hard-headed, knows everything that suddenly meets an angel and finds out about God's plan. Here, try this version.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like a reverse It's a Wonderful Life, because I'm given this opportunity to see the road God intended me to go on. The trouble is, I already like the road I'm on, but I have no choice in the matter. And I end up in this sort of bilateral world of what it would have been had I stayed and married my sweetheart when I was in my 20s and stuff, instead of going down a more of a commercial road and doing what I wanted to do. Because, the guy never, I don't think he ever stopped believing in Jesus. He just sort of he didn't lose his faith. He just sort of lost his way. He never denied that, yeah, there's Jesus, there's God, that's fine, but I'm busy. I got a business deal to do here. I got to take over this new company. But it's a wonderful movie. And I think people will love it of all ages. I think they'll get a kick out of it.
He just sort of lost contact.
Yeah, exactly.
He didn't forget, just not
kind of like I did in my 20s. So.
Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. That's what the 20s are for, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, Kevin, I really appreciate it. Is there anything you want to talk about, or anything you want to promote you got coming up? I know you're coming down here in Atlanta in the next couple of weeks, but
please go to sorbostudios.com. Sorbostudios.com. Sign up. A lot of information happening there, guys. A lot of stuff coming on pipeline. There's just all kinds of things you can check out. My wife shares it with me because she's a big homeschool advocate. She's got like 3 different books on homeschooling, and her latest book, Words for Warriors. It's really how to fight against the insanity of the left. And it's please check out that site. There's a lot of stuff you can get off there.
Insanity is right.
Oh my God!
I never thought the word normal had relative degrees.
Yeah.
Until the last 24 months.
Oh, it's insane! It's insane.
Now I think of what the average person thinks of, much less what I think of. When somebody says normal, I'm like, normal. Yeah, sitting on a plane without a mask on, or something like that. But
it's crazy. And the CDC just came out a week ago saying masks are useless, something we've always known forever. I mean, I know doctors that know that, and told me that from the last year and a half, but they got to keep their mouth shut because they could lose their jobs. This is crazy. This is all about fear and control over our lives, and they're using fear as a weapon to do just that. And people, enough is enough. And I'm glad I'm seeing more and more people do it. But here in Florida, we haven't worn masks in a year and a half. The only time I got to put a stupid mask on is when I get in an airplane. The CEO of Southwest, CEO of American Airlines, came out 2 weeks ago and said, the one place of all places not to wear a mask is in our airplanes. The air is regenerated every 2 minutes. He said it's so healthy in here, and yet we got these Nazi. They love saying Nazi all the time, so I'll say it right back at them. These control freak flight attendants walking down, get above your nose. I mean, they love their little power. Yeah. Flight attendants is to come back to bite you in the ass. I swear to God, it's going to come back to bite you in the ass. You wait until we don't have to wear a mask anymore.
All right. Hey, Kevin, thank you so much. I really appreciate you joining me, and good luck with all these projects coming up. It seems like it's going to be an exciting time.
All right, man. Thanks a lot, Randy. I appreciate it, dude.
All right, Kevin. Hit them straight.
Care. I'll try.
Well, thank you to Kevin Sorbo. I really hope you enjoyed that. Fascinating guy. He's got a lot of stuff going on, doesn't he? All right. Hey, I want to go to social media now and remind you kind of where you found us, because you can go to Twitter, you can go to Facebook, you can go to Instagram, you can go to all those different places. Now you can actually even go to Relevant, because the podcast lives there. But with all that having been said, go to randycross.com. That's where you can consistently find it. Now, I'll mention it again. When you get to YouTube, go ahead and like it, go ahead and subscribe, and help us track a little bit, at least on that particular social media platform. All right? That's fantastic. Thanks. We'll see you in a couple weeks after the Super Bowl. But until then, as always, happy trails.